Uh, Alhamdulillah, we usually cover the book by Ibn al-Qayyim on dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Sundays and Thursdays. But I want to just inform the community, alhamdulillah, we started a gathering here on Thursdays, inshallah, after Maghrib, or excuse me, 7:30 roughly, for people that convert to Islam or have questions about Islam. So it's new Muslims and friends, as we title it. Those of you that may know individuals that have questions about Islam and the way of life of Islam, please bring them forth, inshallah. Come and sit and we just converse and talk, inshallah. But we go over some basic tenets of Islam for them to be acquainted of the creed, inshallah, of the faith of Islam and who we are as Muslims. So the lifestyle of a Muslim and what belief system does that revolve around. But there's just one message that I want to give all of us, and also, mashallah, the guests that have come today. Inshallah, they're part of the family from the converts to Islam, and those that have questions as well. We say welcome at all times. And I was mentioning how in Houston, when I was a new Muslim, there's a brother that when people would decide to convert or embrace Islam, he would just always come to them and he would just say, welcome home. He would just come to them and just say, welcome home, with a smile on his face. And that's what's very, very important, that we as a community, when we see a new face, we practice the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, when you see someone, he said, Sallim ala man ta'arif wa man la ta'arif. He said, give salams to the person that you know and the one that you don't know. I mean, if you look at just this particular mannerism that the Prophet ﷺ is encouraging us to do, that can really even make someone's day. Because no one came to them with a smile and shook their hand and said, Assalamu alaikum, and make dua for them. We have to remember that saying Assalamu alaikum is a dua. It can be a dua. What does Assalam mean? Who can tell me what Assalam is? What does that mean? I'm not answering. Like, the fact that I asked you, it seems like it's a hard question, even though it seems so obvious. It may be a hard question.
Right now, yeah.
What does Assalam mean? Peace? Blessings? Okay, anything else? Wholeness? Okay. Anyone else? Tranquility? Is one of the names of Allah As-Salam? What does As-Salam, that name, what does it mean? As-Salam. The source of peace, right. So some scholars mention, we say As-Salam, meaning the source of peace being upon you, meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being that He is As-Salam, yusallimuka min kulli su', that He is the one that can alleviate you from any pain, to save you, because As-Salam means peace, and also Salima means to be free from any saqam, from any sickness. You ever heard the name Salim? Salim means the one that is pure or that is free from any ailment. Right? As they say the dua, Nas'alullah al-afiyah wa-salama. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what? Health and purity, or health and free from any illness or ailment. So when you say Assalamu alaikum, is very, very comprehensive. It could be the name of Allah and the attributes, what comes from As-Salam, to be upon you. Or you could say the peace and the blessings be upon you. Right? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you. So this is a dua that is made. Even though it's in the form of khabariyah, it's in the form of a declaration or saying something, but it can indirectly be a dua, a prayer that's for a person. If you stop and think about it, this was one thing that was profound for me when I converted to Islam. And I think I mentioned this before, is that the name of Allah is in everything. You know, when everything you do, it's a prayer. Like when you meet somebody, you pray for him. I don't even say hi, hello, right? It's a dua. If you just stop and think about that, within the religion of Islam, it says, look, when you meet each other, you start with my name and you give them benefit as well. You pray for them. That mannerism of itself is an action of righteousness that Allah is giving you the opportunity to ponder over. If you ponder over the fact, when I see a brother, I'm immediately going to make dua for him. Sometimes we give the salams, and the salam is there just as a formality, and then we start with maybe an argument. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, it could be something that is not befitting. And that's where we as human beings, we're forgetful, we're neglectful. This is normal, this is natural. But the opportunity that is always given to us in Islam is so beautiful. That's why when Ibn al-Qayyim is talking about dhikr, the dhikr of Allah can mean remembrance of God, or it can mean mentioning something. In particular, in this context, it's mentioning the name of Allah with your heart and with your tongue. Or sometimes with our tongue that livens and charges the heart. So when you say Assalamu alaikum, think about the fact that Assalamu alaikum, akhi, how are you doing? How are you doing? Really, how are you doing? This is from one of the benefits of having community. So what was the hadith the Prophet ﷺ said? What's the first hadith that I mentioned that he said? Who remembers? Say salam to those who you know and those you don't know. Why did I mention this in the context of what I'm talking about? Because you never know when someone comes into this community and they are new to Dallas. You never know if they just embraced Islam 2 minutes ago. You never know if they're not Muslim and they have a question. They're not going to come in the mosque and say, hi, how are you doing? I'm not Muslim. So, no, they're just going to come. They're going to investigate. They're just going to watch. Let's see. They're nervous 200%. Right? They probably heard so many things about Islam and Muslims, good, bad, and ugly. But they're not, you come into it's just carpet, white walls, no major chandelier decorations. The Prophet ﷺ even forbade that even to a degree, right? It's very plain, and you just see people walk in. Sometimes they don't talk, right? If you see someone you don't know, give them salam. Assalamu alaikum, how are you? What's your name? That can do a lot for a person. A lot. They come from work, they're stressed out, they're trying to find peace, and then you're someone that prays for peace for them on top of that. It can do a lot. So that's what we want to really remember. Just it's basic, but with the basics are basics for a reason, because the basics serve as a foundation. When we say foundation in religion, it means it's a foundation for your khuluq, for your manners, for your interactions with others. And without a doubt, if it's a basic aspect of Islam, that foundation and the interaction can only good should come from it. Khair is what's going to come from it. That's why Allah or the Sunnah has instructed it. That's why it's a Sunnah, because when you practice it, it's supposed to bring goodness in you and goodness around you. Right? So let's just remember that these basic things, when we review our basics, and that's why I love, mashallah, working with new Muslims and with youth as well, because when you review the basics, you're actually reviewing for yourself, and that helps strengthen and solidify that belief that we all believe. Because sometimes it's in our subconscious, but you need certain adhkar and things that remind you to bring it to your conscious to bless you with that strength. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that are consistent in our actions of good. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that we consistently learn our religion and allow it to liberate us from the shackles of ignorance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that whatever we learn, we practice it to the best of our ability through the process of istighfar and the process of shukr, the process of seeking forgiveness from Allah, and the process of showing gratitude. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Oh Allah, give us good in this life and give us good in the next life, and protect us from the chastisement of the fire. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في غزة وفي السودان وفي مشارق الأرض مغاربها. Oh Allah, help the weak and destitute in Gaza, in Sudan, in Xinjiang, in all western east, the far east and the far western parts of the world. يا رب العالمين اجعل في قلوبنا نورا يا رب العالمين اجعل القرآن جلاء قلوبنا وجلاء ربيع قلوبنا وجلاء أحزاننا يا رب العالمين. O Allah, make the Quran a spring for our hearts and illuminate our chests يا رب العالمين. وذهاب أحزاننا, and that which relinquishes the sadness from our souls يا رب العالمين. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.